Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing some lettering in this watercolor journal, and before I get started, I wanted to remind you that if you want to create this for yourself, this printable is a free download in the resource library on my website. If you're not already part of the resource library, I will link it below. It's totally free and it's just a spot where you can find downloads to help you practice your lettering. So I'm going to show you how I like to use printables with watercolor, and it's a little bit different than just lettering right on the paper. So if you want to join me, make sure to grab that free printable to help you get started. Okay, so first things first, I am using this watercolor notebook that I honestly wouldn't typically buy. I was going to be gone for a couple days and I wanted something small to bring with me. So I got this because it's what I could find locally. And then reality kind of hit me that I wasn't going to want to have to bring watercolor supplies with me for this particular time. So I ended up not using it, and it's just been sitting here for almost a year. So I decided to just use it up before buying something else. However, I do typically use Strathmore watercolor journals. For this project, I'm also going to be using a glass dip pen, watercolor, a pencil, pen and eraser for the tracing part, and I wasn't sure which watercolor brush I was going to use, so I have both a regular brush and a water brush. I'm also using the printable I mentioned from the resource library and some tape to help me keep it onto the paper. So if you have never used printables in this way, especially for watercolor lettering, let me explain to you a bit of my process. So when it comes to using watercolor paper, it doesn't really work to put the printable behind your paper and then trace it, because obviously the paper is so thick. You could use a light box, but that's really hard to do in a journal versus a loose piece of paper. But there is a pretty simple way to still be able to trace the design without a light box or anything like that. To start, I find it easier to cut out the design, but this step isn't required. It's just, to me, a little bit easier to get the placement correct. And then I'm going to flip the paper over and color all over the back of the piece of paper using a pencil. It doesn't have to be super thick or dark or anything, and you don't actually have to cover up the whole piece of paper. You just have to cover up the area where there is lettering. I'm actually coloring a bit more than I would if I were using a smooth paper, because the watercolor paper will not take the pencil marking quite as easily, but really you just want to generally cover the area, but it doesn't have to be totally filled in black where you can't see any paper at all. Once I've done this, I'm going to carefully place the design where I want it on the paper. I would recommend trying not to move it around too much because you don't want the pencil to transfer all over the paper. So try to kind of get it positioned where you want it and then lay it down on the paper. Taping it down to the paper can help prevent it from moving around too much as well. And honestly, spacing is the biggest reason why I like to do this method. I am pretty comfortable with freehand hand lettering as far as my lettering goes, but getting something centered on the piece of paper is not my gifting, and so I like to at least get an idea of where things are on the paper. That is super helpful for me. So once I've done this, then I'm going to trace over the words with a pen. Now, pen does matter here. Not that you need an expensive pen or anything like that, but you want to find the right type of pen. So you don't want a brush pen or like a soft felt tipped pen, because we're trying to transfer those pencil markings onto the watercolor paper by pushing on the other side. So if you're using something soft, it probably won't transfer very well. But you also don't want something like a fine liner, because you will want to push firmly, and if you push really hard on those, it could ruin your fine liner. I personally like just a regular ballpoint pen or gel pen for this. I also prefer something that isn't too fine because I want to be able to see the line that it's making, and I also want to be able to push firmly on the paper without scratching through the paper. I'm just using a Sharpie S gel pen, but just any basic ballpoint pen should work. When I'm tracing, I want to be firm enough to push those pencil markings onto the paper so that I can use them as a guide. If I don't push firmly enough and then I pick up the paper and see that I need to do it again, it's really hard to line it up perfectly onto what I've already drawn. So I have found that it's worth the effort to slow down and do it correctly the first time. So once the pencil has been transferred, if it's too dark, you can take a kneadable eraser and roll it over the paper. This can help to take some of the darkness from your lines without erasing it so that you can't see it at all. For the monoline part of this lettering, I am using a glass dip pen. And I'll be honest, using watercolor with this pen is a bit of a labor of love, but it's totally worth it in my opinion. I love the look of both monoline lettering and watercolor, and it's worth it to me to combine the two. An easier way to get this look is to use a bottle of liquid watercolors and then just dip the glass pen into the ink. However, then you are confined to the colors they sell and you're not able to mix your own colors. So that is a bit of a downside. Also, I do like to transfer the liquid watercolors into another little plastic cup because it is a glass pen and I don't want to accidentally put it into a glass jar and chip the end of the pen. But if you don't want to do either of those things, it does totally work to just paint the watercolor on. I have done this in a few other videos, so I can link those below for you as well. But like I said, it's just a little bit more work, but totally worth it in my opinion. When it comes to the brush lettering, I wasn't sure if I should use a water brush or my regular paintbrush. I was trying to mimic the look of the Printable, and I ended up deciding that I think a water brush would help me get that more full look, but truly either of them probably would have been fine. As far as this watercolor journal goes, I will say that I did this first entry on the back side of one of the pages. So I skipped the first page because I always feel kind of intimidated by the first page in a journal, so I like to leave them for when it's full. Maybe that's just me, but it feels like a lot of pressure to start on page 1, so then I can just come back when I'm done with this journal and then do page 1. So I went right to spread 2 and started before realizing that this wasn't the more textured side of the paper. But I have already done the next spread in this notebook. I will share that next week. And I did get a much better result. So I'll show you a close-up of what this side looked like. But overall, I don't have a strong opinion on this watercolor journal either way yet. I just haven't used it enough, but I will keep using it and update you when I have more to go off of. And then make sure to watch next week. I'll do another spread and show you where I actually do one side of the page is a bunch of swatches and then the other side of the page is the lettering. So it's a pretty good comparison, but I could also do a side-by-side comparison doing the same piece in this journal and then also with my Strathmore journal. If you would like to see the difference in the outcome between the two journals, just let me know if that is something that would be helpful for you. And once the lettering is done, it's honestly the hardest part for me, which is waiting till it's dry to erase it all. I am just so tempted to try to erase my pencil markings immediately, even though I know I should wait a really long time. With this method, I often do have to kind of erase outside of the area that I was painting as well. I think because when I'm lettering, I kind of drag my hand across the page, and so it just gets like a very light coating of that pencil. And so I just kind of erase over the whole page, but definitely wait until it's dry. I know it's so hard, but even sometimes when it looks like it's dry, it's just there's like a little spot that's not, and if you go over it with an eraser, it will streak across the page, and that is so frustrating. So I am speaking to myself here because I really do have a hard time with this, but I waited to erase the whole thing, and then I came back to it later and filmed the end part for you so that you can see what it looks like without the pencil marks. So let me know if you ended up using this Printable and creating this piece, or if you're on Instagram, make sure to tag me so that I can see your work. I actually have 2 Instagram accounts, one where I post kind of everything, like behind the scenes, updates, that kind of thing. And then I have one where it is just hand lettering videos. So I will link both of those below for you in case you want to see more content throughout the week. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.